Hey, Randy.
Hi.
All right, it's Amanda and Randy with Getting There Green. Randy's not on the ball. Today we finally picked up a whole lot of compost. It's only about 2 cubic yards and we are starting to fill the garden beds, but we're going to need a lot more than this. What do you think of this compost, Randy?
It's dirty.
Okay.
It's good.
We got it from, I'll do all the talking, you just be the pretty face. I've said that before. Alright, so we went to the city, got it from the city, the compost, which comes from yard waste that city workers get from the gardens and around the city, as well as the residents of the city, their yard waste collection. They do a really good job. Obviously it's not like a certified organic process, but they do a pretty good job. They publish the test results of the soil, so you know the nutrients and stuff in the soil. We could post a link down below with the soil testing for this batch. But alright, so we're just manually, we got to get it through the gate and into the garden beds. Randy, why don't you show us what you're doing? We've got this one wheelbarrow here full.
Yeah.
Show us where we're taking it.
Well, when you're doing wheelbarrow work, remember to lift with your legs.
Lift with your legs. Okay.
Lift with your legs.
Alright.
So,
Woo-hoo!
right. And then we're going over through the fence, gate, not through the fence, but through the gate. That would be damaging property.
My messy yard. Alright.
And then, because of the height, it makes it really easy.
Excellent. Very good.
Yeah. And then back through the fence and repeat.
And repeat. A whole bunch more times.
Yep. We won't bore you with that.
No? No? Alright. Okay, we have finished filling the garden beds with the compost, and let's see, 4 cubic yards of compost worked out to I think $54, I think, 4 cubic yards, and I don't know, a few hours of labor, but it is all done. And actually it's been a week since we did this. The miracle of video. So anyways, they're all full. And we are ready to add whatever else we're going to add. We're going to add some peat moss and then get planting. But it has been sitting for a week, and it is a good idea to let it sit for probably up to 2 weeks before you start planting. And I think that's all I need to say today.
Well, tell us a little bit about why. Well, it was pretty important for us to leave the compost for a while.
Yes, and that's because it's still hot when you pick it up from the city. Like, it's mostly done composting, but it's still pretty hot in the center of the pile, which is kind of what you're getting when they give you a cubic yard, whatever. Like, they're digging it from the pile, so it's still pretty hot inside. So you're letting it finish and cool, whatever, in your yard, and that's why you don't want to plant in it right away, because you might burn the roots of your seedlings, and that's why, Randy.
So the other thing is, so you mentioned peat moss.
Yep.
Okay, so there are a lot of people who have commented on previous videos that we have about peat moss and how it's not a non-renewable resource and blah blah blah.
There's a lot of both sides to the argument. Peat moss is not an easily renewable resource because it takes a very long time for nature to create peat moss. Peat moss overseas, like in Europe, there they've over harvested it. Like, they've harvested like 80% of their peat moss or something. So that's pretty devastating for their bogs, their wildlife. In Canada, we're still harvesting just like 1%. So it's nowhere near what it is, you know, in worldwide other places. We have a lot of it in Canada. Industry and stuff considers it a waste product. The other option that people usually recommend is coconut coir, but there's all kinds of things about that too, like processing that and the carbon footprint of getting that to here, because coconuts do not grow anywhere near here. Whereas peat moss, you know, it's Canadian. It doesn't come very far. So there's pros and cons to both sides. I've decided I would use both. I would use either. And I've decided to go with peat moss now.
Okay, now the reason we're putting peat moss in the garden beds this time around is what?
Most people like it because it helps to retain moisture and that kind of thing. Actually, kind of why we have chosen to do it is a few years ago, Randy started a community garden here in the city, and he built raised beds that were like 4 feet high. They were so high, and completely filled them with this city compost. And he operated that community garden for a year, and it did really well. And then a good friend of ours took over the community garden. He's been operating it ever since. And he said, "Hey Randy, that compost was awesome stuff. We got big plants, but not a lot of vegetables off of them." He said, "I needed to amend it. And the best thing that we did to amend it was add peat moss, and you know, it's been really great since." Knowing you use the same kind of compost that we're using, because we set that up, like, let's do what he did. It's proven to work, so we are adding peat moss. Now, I'm not adding a whole lot of peat moss. Like, I'm only adding it to the top few inches because it is a lot more expensive than the compost was. So I'm going economical. I'm using it where it matters most, which is where vegetables will have their roots, the top few inches. Is that what you were looking for, Randy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job on that community garden. It's fantastic. It's doing very well. Very, very well. It's amazing.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna get the peat moss in the garden beds today.
I'm gonna work on that. I've got a lot of projects around the yard to work on, so we'll see how we finish.
Give us a list of a few that you've got going that you might want to have
all
go.
the things that okay, this can't all be done today, but here's the things that I'm working on over the next few weeks. I am, of course, starting all of the seeds. Now, I didn't start anything indoors, so they're all going to be started outdoors this year. And so I got to start doing that. I got to transplant stuff from the old house, which is like raspberries and blueberries and rhubarb. Also, I'm working on a herb garden, which is in a different part of the yard here, and it's going to have a brick retaining wall. So I'm starting on the brick retaining wall today. Actually, I already started. I'm working on the brick retaining wall today. It's going to be a really big project, really nice when it's done, the herb garden, because it's going to be like a beautiful water feature and stuff in it too, just small. But I also want to build a pollinator garden. It's going to be kind of behind where the camera is filming from right now. I have some bird feeders and things. And so it's going to be a pollinator garden. I'm not going to start that. I'm going to do that in the next couple of weeks. I don't even have the seeds and stuff for that yet. They're coming in the mail. Ordered from Vessie's. I ordered them through a fundraiser a local scout group was doing, Boy Scouts. So I'm waiting for that to come in, and then I'll build the pollinator garden. Trying to keep Randy in line. Be working on that as always.
Hey.
Alright, anyways, this video is getting rather long, and I know you guys don't like to sit through long videos.
Alright, so tell them the spiel.
So,
hurry up.
gettingtheregreen.com is our website, but go to our Facebook. We'd like to interact with you there, facebook.com/gettingtheregreen, and make sure you subscribe here if you like this video, because there's going to be a lot more this year, okay?
Tell them where to subscribe. Hit the button. Where?
Hit the button.
Hit the button. It says subscribe.
It says subscribe. I don't know, Randy.
Okay. Nice try.
Down there.
Somewhere. In that general direction. Thanks for subscribing, guys. We appreciate all of the following and bearing with us through the difficult past couple years with getting videos out.
Come on, Randy, tie it up, tie it up. This
But
video's
anyway,
so long.
just want to thank you guys for sticking with us. All right, there are videos, a lot more videos coming this year. So, yeah. Gigi says hurry up too. Yeah.
She's vicious.
Tell him.
You tell him.
Tell him. There you go, guys. The word from Gigi. Subscribe or else. Okay. Have a good day, guys.